The following presentation shows correct procedures to follow for the most frequent operations using the I.B.M. 3480 magnetic tape subsystem. After you see it, you should be able to do most work using the subsystem. However, this presentation does not replace the printed publications for the subsystem. Important details about the operations shown in this presentation and on other operations which are not frequently performed are contained in the operator's guide. Information about messages which appear on the 3480 operator panel message display is in both the planning and migration guide and in the operator's guide. Another publication provides more information and detail on the tape cartridges. The new I.B.M. 3480, a high-performance magnetic tape subsystem, complete with half-inch magnetic recording tape stored in a compact cartridge. The I.B.M. 3480 magnetic tape subsystem consists of a control unit and from 1 to 4 tape units. Each tape unit has 2 tape drives in it. Inserting and removing tape cartridges is easy, and tape threading is automatic. Using correct procedures will ensure easy operation and help maintain peak performance of the subsystem. The parts of the subsystem that you will use are the drive operator panel, the tape cartridge, the cartridge entry opening and door, the drive switch panel, and the control unit switch panel. The drive operator panel can be turned to either side to make it easier to see and use. Snap detents hold it securely in your preferred position. You'll use the drive operator panel and its various displays for most of your work with the subsystem. It has 3 switches: a selected indicator that is lit when the drive is transferring data, attention bars that light when you need to go to the drive, and a message display for operational information. All subsystems show status messages. Status messages don't require you to do anything, they just tell you what the drive is doing. The simplest message is a single asterisk. This shows that there is no cartridge in the drive and that it is available for work. These are some status messages. The U or F displayed in the last character tells what the file protect status of the tape cartridge is. U means unprotected. F means file protected. Other messages read locating, erasing, end of tape, rewinding, unloading. These messages are not requests for operator action. They tell about automatic operations. You don't need to do anything when these messages are displayed. Some messages are requests for operator action. Most of these ask that a tape cartridge be mounted or demounted. If an M is displayed, you should mount a tape cartridge in the drive. The volume serial number of the tape cartridge to be mounted also appears in the display. The last character tells you the label type of the volume. S is for standard. N is no label. A is ANSI. X is a non-standard label. And a question mark means the cartridge has an unknown label type. A D means to demount the tape cartridge that is in the drive. A K means to demount it and keep it in the library. An R means to demount the cartridge but retain it near the drive for reuse. If more than one action is required, the messages alternate on the display. Not all subsystems will show cartridge mount-demount messages. The system console also gives information on cartridge mounting. Don't carry too many cartridges in your hands. You might drop them. If you need to carry a lot, use a cart or carrier. Don't put more than 6 cartridges in the stack, and be sure the stack isn't where it can be knocked over. As you recall, the M means to insert a cartridge. To insert the tape cartridge, first set the File Protect selector. Set the selector to the flat side with the white dot showing if a cartridge is to be file protected. If the cartridge is to be used for reading, writing, and erasing data, set the selector in the unprotected position with the round side showing. Make sure the selector is securely in its detent to prevent it from slipping. This is a good time to make sure the cartridge is clean and free from damage. You should also make sure the leader block is properly seated. Press on it with your finger. You will have trouble inserting the cartridge the wrong way around, and the door won't close. The cartridge is facing the right way with the drive mechanism on the bottom, the smooth side on top, the leader block toward the drive. When you insert the cartridge correctly and close the door, the tape threads and processing starts automatically. When processing is complete, the drive door opens automatically and the tape cartridge can be removed. Drives that are used a lot may put the clean message on the display. You should insert a cleaning cartridge at the next convenient break in processing to initiate the special cleaning cycle. Ordinarily, of course, you should use the cleaning cartridge on each drive on a regular schedule, at least once a week, even without the clean message. You should also clean a drive if it has been reset. All drives in a subsystem that has been powered off should be cleaned when you resume processing. When the cycle is done, the cleaning cartridge unloads automatically. That's all there is to it. The switches on the operator's panel also let you open the drive door. During normal operations, when the job is completed, the drive automatically rewinds and unloads the tape, and the cartridge door opens automatically. However, the drive door can also be closed when there is no cartridge mounted. When you need to put a cartridge in an empty drive with a closed door, just open the door by pressing Unload. Don't try to open the door by pulling up on it. You will damage the machine if you force the door. Use the switch. In addition to knowing about the cartridges and tape drives, you should know how to control the power to the subsystem and how to do an initial microprogram load, or IML. One of the uses for the switches and indicators is to control the power to the subsystem. In emergencies, you can remove all power from the subsystem immediately. Move the unit emergency power switch to Power Off. The normal procedures for removing and restoring power are a little slower. Extra steps are included to protect the system and any jobs that might be using the 3480 subsystem. First, vary the drives and channel paths offline on each system. Then, at the control unit switch panel, move the control unit online-offline switch to offline. The indicator comes on when it is offline. You might have to wait up to 5 minutes for all work using the drives to be completed before the indicator comes on. When it does, unload and remove any cartridges left in the drives. Be sure the local remote power switch is in local. Remove power from the subsystem using the power on-off switch. Remember, use these steps to remove power from the 3480 subsystem. To resume using a subsystem that has been powered off, first press the Power Enable switch. Then make sure the IML diskette is inserted into the diskette drive and that the diskette drive door latch is closed. Be sure the local remote power switch is in local. Then restore the power with the Power On-Off switch. An initial microprogram load occurs automatically when power is restored. The light on the diskette drive is lit and the wait indicator flickers to tell you that the IML is taking place. When the IML is complete, the light on the diskette drive goes out and the wait indicator is lit continuously. Set the local remote power switch according to your requirements. Put the control unit online-offline switch in online. When the offline indicator goes out, the procedure is complete. Then vary the channel paths and drives back online on the desired systems. In review, to restore power to a subsystem that has been powered off, use these steps. The initial microprogram load can also be performed with power still on. The microprogram on the IML diskette determines how the subsystem works. Some error conditions may result in the need for an additional IML. Doing an IML when the subsystem is processing data can cause data to be lost. Be sure that an IML is really needed. Before doing the IML, vary the drives and channel paths offline on each system. Then at the control unit switch panel, move the control unit online-offline switch to offline. The indicator will come on when it is offline. After you have waited for all work using the drives to finish, and when the CU offline indicator is lit, press the IML switch to start the IML. When the IML is complete, the light on the diskette drive goes out and the wait light is lit continuously. To resume processing, put the control unit back online and vary the channel paths and drives back on. Use these steps to perform an IML efficiently and without risk to the system or to jobs which were using the subsystem. Occasionally, a check code or special symbols will indicate a problem with the drive unit. Write whatever is on the message display for the service representative's later use. In general, whenever there is a drive problem, try to retrieve the cartridge. Make the drive not ready. Next, press Unload. The cartridge should unload. It may take a little while to rewind before unloading. If the cartridge does not unload within about 3 minutes, record any check codes on the message display. Then press Unload again. If the drive again fails to unload within about 3 minutes, record any new check codes displayed. If the cartridge does not unload, press the drive reset switch. Then press Unload again. Use these steps to unload a cartridge from a drive only if the drive does not unload automatically. If the drive unloads the cartridge, inspect the cartridge for damage. If these steps fail, a service representative will have to remove the cartridge. The procedure you've just seen should be used if cartridges were left in the drives after a power off or a power failure, if a cartridge did not rewind or unload, or if the drive door did not open after cartridge processing has completed, or if you need to insert a cartridge and the drive door is closed. There are a few other problems that you might be able to recover from. If the drive displays are blank, make sure that power to the control unit is on. If a drive does not become ready or begin processing, make sure the Ready Not Ready switch is in the ready position. The leader block might be damaged or come loose from the tape. It can be replaced using the leader block repair kit. Cartridges whose leader blocks have been replaced are damaged. They should be loaded only once more after repair to recover the data on the tape. They should not be reused. You should rarely experience problems. Proper tape cartridge handling and following good operating procedures are the keys for maintaining peak performance of the I.B.M 3480 magnetic tape subsystem. And the keys are in your hands.
This presentation shows correct procedures to follow for the most frequent operations using the automatic cartridge loader for the I.B.M 3480 magnetic tape subsystem. After viewing it, you should be able to do most work using the automatic loader. This presentation assumes that you are already basically familiar with correct operation of the 3480 without the automatic loader installed. Basic 3480 operations are shown in another I.B.M videotape. These videotapes do not replace the printed publications for the subsystem. Important details about the operations shown in this presentation and about other operations that are not frequently performed are contained in the operator's guide. Information about messages that appear on the 3480 operator panel message display is in the Planning and Migration Guide, GC 350098, and in the operator's guide. Another publication provides more information and detail about the tape cartridges. The I.B.M 3480, a high-performance magnetic tape subsystem. complete with half-inch magnetic recording tape, stored in a compact cartridge. The automatic cartridge loader feature for the I.B.M. 3480 magnetic tape subsystem is intended to reduce the number of trips an operator must make to the drives during normal operation. Up to 6 tape cartridges can be put into the loader before they are needed. What the loader does depends on which operating mode is selected. In automatic mode, the next cartridge loads automatically as soon as the previous cartridge has unloaded. In system mode, scratch cartridges load into the drive from the input stack in response to system-generated messages. In manual mode, the operator handles specific mount requests individually. Do not press Start before letting go of the cartridge. It could cause a check condition. Pressing Start causes operation to begin in the mode selected and causes the cartridge to feed and load. After tape cartridges are processed, they are held at the feed position. Up to 6 cartridges can be held in the output tray for removal at the operator's convenience. Using the correct operating methods can help to maintain peak performance of the automatic cartridge loader. To start operation in automatic mode, remove any processed cartridges from the feed position and the output tray. Place 1 or more cartridges in the input stack. Make certain the cartridges are fully inserted. Set the mode switch to auto and press Start. At that time, the cartridge closest to the bottom of the input stack loads into the drive. After processing is complete, the tape is removed from the drive and placed in the output tray. If another cartridge is available in the input stack, it is loaded into the drive automatically. Automatic operation continues as long as there are cartridges available in the input stack and room in the output tray. While automatic operation continues, volume mount requests sent to the drive are shown on the drive display. Because no operator response is needed, the messages do not flash and the display attention bars do not light. Automatic mode may be used under any operating system for the following purposes: mounting scratch tapes, mounting specific volumes that will be used in a known order, mounting single cartridges. Specific mount requests for single volumes are most efficiently handled in auto mode. To start operation in system mode, remove any processed cartridges from the feed position and output tray. Place 1 or more scratch cartridges in the input stack. Leave the feed position empty. If there is a mount request on the drive display, Put the requested volume in the feed position. Set the mode switch to System. Press Start. Specific volume mount requests are simply passed along to the drive display. To satisfy a specific volume mount request, remove the cartridge, if any, from the feed position. If the feed position is empty, check the drive display to be sure there is no cartridge still in the drive. Place the requested cartridge in the feed position. Then press Start. In System mode, messages sent to the drive calling for scratch or private volumes will cause the next available cartridge in the input stack to load automatically. These messages are shown at the drive display, but they do not flash and the attention bars do not light. If a scratch cartridge is available and there is room in the output stack, no operator response is needed to a mount message. Process cartridges are held at the feed position until either they are removed by the operator or an automatic mount is done. Before an automatic mount, the cartridge at the feed position is placed in the output tray. System mode operation continues as long as there are scratch cartridges available in the input stack and room in the output tray. System mode will work only with operating systems that send mount request messages to the drive displays. If system mode is set under a system that does not send messages, VM for example, then no automatic mounts will occur. Manual operation, however, will not be affected. System mode is used for automatic mounts of scratch requests where a given drive may receive requests either for specific volumes or for scratch tapes at random. To start operation in manual mode, remove the cartridge, if any, at the feed position. Put the desired cartridge in the feed position. Set the mode switch to manual and press Start. Process cartridges are held at the feed position until they are removed by the operator. The output tray is not used. Mount request messages sent to the drive are displayed without change. Manual mode can be used with any operating system. It is used when the output tray must be kept raised, for example, to permit servicing of an adjacent drive. It is used to stop automatic operation of the loader. It can also be used when operation very similar to a standard 3480 is desired. Continuous operation in automatic or system modes may result in improved operator efficiency. In auto and system modes, operation will continue as long as there are cartridges available in the input stack and room for process cartridges in the output tray. Interruptions can be prevented by removing process cartridges and adding new ones before the automatic loader stops. If the loader input stack becomes empty, the next mount request message sent to the drive will flash as it is displayed. Automatic operation stops. The first and most timely indication that the input stack is empty is the empty stack itself. Operators can prevent interruption by checking for empty input stacks and adding more cartridges before the last one rewinds and unloads from the drive. If the output tray becomes full, the attention indicator on the loader operator panel will flash. Automatic operation stops. It is most efficient to maintain continuous operation by emptying the output tray before it becomes full. Operators can prevent interruption by checking the output tray and emptying it before it fills completely. To resume operation after the automatic loader stops, simply press Start. Automatic or system mode operation can also be stopped deliberately at any time by changing to manual mode. If manual mode is selected while a loader movement is in progress, the movement completes and then automatic operation stops. If a cartridge is in the drive, it completes processing. Then it returns to the feed position and is held there. Automatic operation stops. Automatic operation also stops if a tape cartridge intended for output is not set to write Enable, or if an error occurs during label processing. This includes loading a cartridge with the wrong Valseer or label type. The cartridge remains in the drive, and a message is sent to the console and to the drive. This prevents bypassing cartridges so that operators can keep control of each cartridge. It also keeps pre-staged cartridges in order. Recovery requires going to both the console and the drive. Here's how to recover. First, go to the drive and put the mode switch in manual. Do not unload the cartridge from the drive by using the Not Ready and Unload switches. That would cause a deferred unit check, and the drive would stop communicating with the host. Use the console instead. Reply to the system message by rewinding and unloading the cartridge. Then return to the drive. The cartridge will be held at the feed position. Remove it. Set Write Enable on or insert the correct cartridge. Return the switch to the proper mode and press Start. Operators can prevent interruption by making sure that all scratch and output volumes are set to Write Enable before putting them into the loader, that only scratch cartridges are in the input stack in system mode, that all cartridges have the correct label type, and that pre-staged cartridges are in the correct order. Automatic operation also stops if there is a check in the drive or loader. Recovery is, in most cases, similar to recovery with the base 3480. Follow the appropriate recovery procedure to try to correct the problem. Complete recovery procedures are given in the operator's guide. The following procedures correct the majority of problems that do not require calling a service representative. A flashing attention indicator on the loader normally means that the output tray is full. Occasionally, the flashing attention indicator occurs when a cartridge is incorrectly loaded in the drive. The actions you should take are the same for both situations. Remove the cartridge, if any, from the feed position and the cartridges from the output tray. Resume operation in the desired mode. If a cartridge moves out to the feed position when you press Start, it was probably in the drive when another cartridge was placed in the feed position. Remove it and resume operation. When the attention indicator on the loader is on continuously, it usually means a loader problem. There is often a check code on the drive display as well. If so, start with the procedure for recovery when there is a check code. press Unload. Check the attention indicator on the loader panel. If it is flashing, press Start. Check the drive display for a check code. If there is one, go to that procedure. If both indicators are normal, press Start again to start operation in the desired mode. Return to the console and vary the drive online. If it is flashing, note any check codes or other symptoms. Press Start. If light continues flashing, press Start again. If the check code remains, make the drive offline at the drive panel. Switch to offline, press Reset, then switch to online. When the reset successfully completes, press Start. Return to the console and vary the drive online. If it is not flashing, note any check codes or other symptoms. Then press Unload. Wait a couple of minutes. Then press Unload again. If the drive display still is not normal, stop. Call a service representative. You shouldn't experience problems often. There are two keys to maintaining peak performance of the I.B.M. Model 3480 magnetic tape subsystem: proper tape cartridge handling and following good operating procedures. The keys are in your hands.
Welcome to NCS. This video has been prepared to help familiarize you with the operation of the I.B.M. 3800 laser printer. The 3800 laser printer is a high-speed, general-purpose, non-impact printer that is capable of running more than 60 feet a minute. It uses single-ply continuous forms. As the form runs through the printer, it can go to one of two stackers: the continuous form stacker or the burster trimmer stacker, where the sheets are trimmed and cut into single sheets. Our goal for the 3800 is to produce the best possible printed form we can. This is the operator control panel. It contains the various push buttons and indicators that control the operation of the printer. The function select buttons you will be using to control the printers are the set vertical and display vertical buttons. These are used when you're lining the print up vertically on the form. The set horizontal and display horizontal buttons, which are used when lining the print up horizontally on the form. Reset allows you to reset your printer and prepare it for the next operation. Advance one page advances one page through the printer without being printed on. Printer ready is the printer for normal operation. NPRO moves blank paper through the form, and the stop puts the printer in a not ready mode. Next to these are the data entry keys. They allow you to enter characters that correspond to the functions you are performing. For example, lining up forms. The data display area shows the data you have entered on the data entry keys. The status area displays error messages and message codes. To find the meaning of the status codes, each printer has a quick reference guide that lists them in numeric order. It explains the problem and gives the correct procedures to follow to solve the problem. It is very easy to get inside a 3800. Just lift up and push back on the two folding lids. All the controls and guide marks you will use when threading and adjusting the paper are color-coded blue. Here is a brief overall description. The brush, the paper feed button, the splicing table, paper feed knob, transfer scavenger, forms tractor covers, tension bar, vacuum release lever, scuff roller lever, forms length selector, CFS panel, paper feed knob, paper feed button, scuff roller release, output tray, NPRO guide, trimmer cover handle, trimmer assembly adjustments, decurler knob. On the rear of the machine is a diagram that shows the location of all the blue coded controls. The paper feed knob, and also below the paper feed knob is a loop diagram that will help you in setting up your burster for the correct number of sheets to be in this area. You will learn more about this later. The burster plate release, forms tractor covers, motor run button, the single burst button, and the forms length selector. You will get more familiar with these controls after you've had some experience running the printer. We will now demonstrate how to thread the 3800 printer to the continuous form stacker. First, we open up a box of form. Every time we open up a box of form, we always check the top and bottom pages of each box for any torn, wrinkled, or damaged sheets. And we remove these before using the form in the printer. It is a good idea to fan through the paper with your hands. This loosens any sheets that are sticking together and prevents possible problems later with the printer. We cut or remove most of the box before placing it in the printer because of the speed at which the printer runs. Place the paper into the input station. There are two black arrows there to show you the proper placement of the box. Pull the box toward you till it is against the edge of the input tray. Take the top sheet of paper and thread it behind the bar and under the brush up to the input ramp. Change the CFS forms length selector to the proper length of the form you are using. This will turn on two indicator lights that will aid you later on in setting up your registration. One is on the input ramp, and the other light is up on the fuser station. Lift and open the transfer scavenger area by the handle. Open the front and rear tractor covers and pull the paper through the scavenger area. Fit the paper holes into the tractor pins and close the tractor connector so that the paper is smooth and has the correct tension. Lower the station and place the paper holes on the tractor pins on the front tractors. Push the paper feed button to get extra sheets of paper. Double over your first sheets of paper and thread it over the paper tension bar. Turn your vacuum release lever to the left and your scuff roller releaser to the thread position. Pull the paper through the fuser station. To set the correct paper registration, use the paper feed knob located at the transfer station and align the paper at the input wrap by moving the paper fold in line with the lit indicator. Align the paper at the fuser station by moving the paper fold so that it is aligned with the slot by the lit indicator. Check the base of your tension bar to make sure it's showing the correct paper length. Shut your vacuum release lever, your scuff roller to run, and guide the first few sheets into the CFS stacker area using the paper feed knob. Lower your CFS table and move the knob over to the correct width of the paper. Feed all the slack paper into the table and check to make sure your fold is correct. There is a diagram next to the table that will aid you in making sure you have the correct fold. Raise your table up to the up position. And the printer is set up to run continuous forms. To thread the paper through the burster area, at this point you would lower the output selector plate. Open the MPRO guide and trimmer assembly area and thread the paper under the MPRO guide and the input bar, placing the holes in the paper over the sprocket pins and closing the MPRO guide to hold it into place. Gently pull on the center of the paper, guiding it through the trimmers with one hand while turning the paper feed knob with the other. When you have a few sheets through the trimmers, you can close the cover and push the motor run button. This will propel the rest of the extra paper through the trimmer area. You could also get the extra paper through the trimmer area by using the paper feed knob. Once the slack has been taken up, check the chart on the machine and set the loop of your paper according to the chart, tearing off any extra sheets. Open the burster plate area and the tractor cover forms. Place the paper under the bar and into the burster area. Place about 1/2 inch of paper into the burster area and place the paper so that the edge of the paper is aligned with the blue alignment guides. Close the covers and the burster plate area and check your form length selector to make sure it is set up for the proper length of form. If it is not, set it up so it shows the correct length. The printer has now been threaded to the burster stacker trimmer. After you have threaded the paper through the printer, it is always a good idea to push the MPRO button. This runs paper through the printer, ensuring that the form has been threaded correctly and will run smoothly through the printer before you start an actual job. Now that the printer has been threaded with paper, we are ready to tell it what to print. We do this through a writer, which runs on the mainframe. If there is not a writer on your printer when you come in, you must call one up. We have two forms of lineup jobs that aid you in lining the data up correctly on the form. One kind is included in the actual job before any real data is shown, and the other one we have to initiate ourselves. You will learn more about these in your training. The job we are going to start has a lineup included with the job, so we will not have to initiate one ourselves. We need to tell the printer what it is we wish to print. To do this, we need to go to the console and type R, your printer address, the class you're running in, the name of the form, and hit the Enter key. Now type in an S for start and the printer address. Go to your printer and push the green Printer Ready button. This will put your printer into the ready mode. It will print only the start pages of your job and then stop automatically. These are the start pages of your job. They tell you information about the job you are running. The top line will show you the batch name, the second line the program name, the third line the job name, and on the fourth line the name of the form you're using. Push the stop button on your printer and go back to your console. Type in another S for start and your printer name. This will start the actual job running on your printer. Press the Printer Ready key, but be prepared to hit the stop key right away so you can start to line up your job. The X's on the page show you where the data will print. We need to move the print so that it is lined up and spaced evenly within the columns and lines. To do this, we use the display and set buttons for the horizontal and vertical. You press the display to see what the alignment is set at, and then use your data entry keys to change it and hit your set vertical to set it in the machine. For vertical, to make the print go up on the page, you would need to lower the number. For horizontal, to make the print go to the left, you would lower the number. You will learn more about this during your actual 3800 training. Once you have changed the print, run a couple more pages and then stop the printer and check it again. Keep adjusting it till it looks like it's right. If you have any questions about what a lineup should look like, ask a senior or a permanent operator. They would be glad to help you. Here we repeat the same procedures again, moving the vertical and horizontal lines. Each time you adjust the machine, make sure you stop and check it. It is very important that we line up the forms the best that we can to have the best quality possible. A form that is not lined up correctly and printed will need to be run again. Once you feel you have the lineup correct, make sure you do stop and check the actual data. Sometimes the actual data will need a slight adjustment over what the lineup looked like. If you should happen to print the first few pages of the actual data with it not lined up correctly, we are able to restart the job and print it with it lined up. Once you have ensured that the actual data looks fine, you can let the printer run till the job is done, checking it every time you add boxes of form. But if the data does not look correct, make sure you restart the job from the beginning and print the whole job correctly. Also, make sure you go back to the burster stacker trimmer area and make sure that the trimmer blades are not cutting off any data. It is very important that no data is cut off. The job will need to be rerun or restarted if any of the characters or letters are cut off. If you are unsure, ask a senior or permanent operator and they will help you. The jobs here at NCS are different lengths. Some jobs are really short, some are real long. The printer should run by itself and display any type of problem it has with the status codes. When you have finished printing a job, you will receive a job end page and the printer will stop, displaying a message on the CRT screen that the job is done. When the job is done, you need to unload it from your stacker. To do this, pull out the job, set it on the table, throw away all the blank pages before and after the job. You will want to check each job's start and end page, ensuring that it is the same job and that there are not two jobs there together. Check the information on all the lines, and when you are sure it is one job, you are ready to fill out the part card. To fill out the part card, we put down the batch number from the top line. The program number from the second line. The job number from the third line goes at the top of the card. You put in part 1 of 1 if it's a one-part job. The form number from the fourth line. Your employee number. And the date it was printed. Then paperclip the part card to the output stack and place the output stack onto the cart. At the 3800, there are training manuals to aid you in learning how to run a 3800 printer. Please refer to them often and ask senior and permanent operators about any questions you have.